we are. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the first meeting of the West Hampton Beach Planning Board for 2024. It being January 11. Happy New Year to all. My apologies for not being here at our December meeting, but I was deathly ill, so um, happy holidays, very belatedly to all as well. And as I look out the window, I see the hint of light, which to me means we've made a lot of progress towards getting towards the spring. That's a good thing. Anyways, we have some decisions tonight. Oh, that's right, the pledge. See, if I didn't have him here, I wouldn't know what to do. All rise for the pledge, please. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the United States of America, of the nation, indivisible, with justice for all. Thank you all. Hopefully that will be my one mistake for 2024. We have some decisions, excuse me. First, we'll do Hampton Synagogue.
We have decision for Hampton Synagogue Parish House. Anybody here for the applicant? I need a motion to accept the resolution as written.
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
With regard to 32 Mill LLC, this decision, before we proceed forward to that, I just want to highlight, since there was a lot of interest in this particular application, I want to just highlight the pertinent portions of our determination. The application was actually to modify the existing site plan to convert a second floor office to an 8-seat restaurant and reduce the first floor luncheonette to 8 seats with no other proposed changes to the exterior or building or site plan. As is relevant in this particular determination, again, the approved use is for a maximum of 16 seats, and that's also a condition of the Suffolk County Health Department as well. No exterior seating or single service foodware. And then the other significant portion was there will be no access to the second floor deck area to the public, and that the applicant will be closing off the access to that second floor deck from the public portion of the building. Otherwise, a lot of the stuff that was discussed was either outside of our jurisdiction or wasn't particularly relevant. But these are the main portions of our determination. So if I can have a motion,
I make a motion, we accept the decision as written.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
We were supposed to have a decision on the Gables of West Hampton, formerly West Hampton Equity Group. I understand that there's been some issues with that, council? Or
We're not there yet.
we're not there yet, so.
What are we missing? I mean,
Why aren't we there yet?
we've given
Where are we?
everything we've asked.
Now.
I would think. We've given
Keep calm.
everything that we've
Keep
asked.
calm.
It's a new year.
It is. And we'd like to get started.
Well, you are started.
There's a lot of things happening up there.
We'd like to start some more things.
We want you to.
We will get you there. Well, I mean, in what, can we give the applicant some idea of where we're at?
Do we need anything besides writing the decision?
Is it possible you submit that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean,
We'll have to trace it, that's all.
I think very early on, we took a blank sheet of paper, but see the existing property survey. And we can find that and re-give it to you.
Condition as is.
Well, what was the site plan's gotta be based off of a survey? Right, who prepared the survey?
Going back like probably a year and a half ago.
Yeah, so we segmented the applications, sorry for my voice, we segmented the applications from the previous to the new submittal that you made in 2022, and that's the completeness of that submittal. And there was not a survey in that submittal.
There was definitely one in the first go round. I'll find it.
The second part is, to be fair to us, this is a very big and complicated decision that has a lot of moving parts, and we gotta get it right, Jim. And so I get you that you wanna rush and get to work, but, this is important to the village too.
Sure.
And we need to get it right.
Think there's anything that we would accomplish in the next couple of weeks that would run afoul of what's left involved.
And that would be good if we were able to give you a decision tonight.
We're not there.
I understand that, but I think there's some things that we could start doing, like some of the infrastructure, some of the foundations, we're gonna move.
We've been over that. This is very complicated. The bonding is very complicated. We just kind of cleared that up within what, few days? Last few days?
We submitted something within a couple of days of being requested, and then we waited 2 weeks.
All
and
right,
then
but be
submitted
that as it
something.
may, it's a complicated project, and we're still thinking through this, the health department phasing and all that, trying to make sure that we get all the triggers correct and that the village is protected through bonding, if, as, and when you stop building in the middle of the project. I don't mean you, but you have to contemplate things like that, and it's very complicated. So I get that you want to get this going, but we're gonna get this right. Okay?
Hopefully.
Well,
We don't want to get it wrong. I get.
we're gonna try. We're gonna do our best to get it right.
This by the next meeting.
That's our plan.
Is there anything else that we can do to assist you in?
We'll let you know. There might be. I mean, usually with something this complex, Jim, I try to share at least the conditions with you in advance. We've done that a couple of times before and give you a chance to comment on it. So, we haven't not done anything. We've been working on it, but it's complicated. So,
Forward. We're just.
get it?
We sense that.
Delivered my message, Dan.
Loud and clear.
There's nothing that you need from us or us to do.
Not at the moment that we're
We
aware of.
may need this, if we can't track down this survey, we might need that, but
So Ron had two comments. We revised both of those, or one of them was an actual, just the marcation of what light fixture we were gonna use for 3,000 versus 4,000. The other comment was previously revised. I think Ron missed that page, so I spoke to him earlier. I gotta send him that page again. But it had all the information on it. I think he just missed it. And then I think that was,
Looking forward on it.
I think that was it. Yeah, you already have it. I already sent it in. I think Ron, when he re-reviewed it, didn't see it. So I gotta send that back to him, and then Ron did in the last like 2 days, okay, the bond amounts.
But we don't have anything other than rumor that he accepted that.
I have an email from him, but that's about all that I
Yeah, we're
have,
gonna
so.
need- We want to
Well,
hear
I
him
said
say
that,
those words.
I said that he said that he said.
I know.
I read that email.
I wanted to be very clear.
PowerPoint exactly.
My experience with these applications is once we get to this point where we're just dealing with details, it tends to take on a momentum of its own. And once you accomplish one thing, it leads to a domino effect. But the decision is clearly going to be something that's not going to be rushed just for the sake of rushing it. So I have
we haven't had a project like this in 10 years. So,
a great deal of faith in the village council, and they will do the appropriate job as expeditiously as they deem appropriate.
Count us. We want to get you out of here.
Yeah, sure.
We
On
have
on C-110 on the landscape plan, we want to make sure those trees we're trying to save are called out. It doesn't show them, it shows some trees and shrubbery on here, but I didn't see a note.
The
Yeah,
lobby trees,
Yeah,
they've
I
been
think
Yeah,
they're-
those
they-
lop
they-
trees.
Yeah, we think we marked them out on the side.
Okay.
I'll verify, but I think we annotated.
They claim there's 5 of them. I can only spot 4 of those trees.
I think we found 5. We physically
You did
found
find
them,
them,
like I
okay.
put ribbon on them
Yeah, they're
myself.
pretty,
but They're
pretty
there.
definite that there was 5, but I just couldn't see the 5th one. So, okay, that's great.
So,
You had this decision for your the Gables of West Hampton Beach, LTD, which is the approved owner.
Gables of West Hampton.
it was a West Hampton. no beach.
Just confirming.
And we have that
Okay.
deed, I assume, right? Whatever transfer to confirm that that's the,
The property
Owned in WH Equity, yeah.
is owned in WH Equities, but the
Development. They gave-
it's got, the decision's gotta be in the name of the property owner, because property owner's gonna have to sign the covenants.
That's fine.
You could name whatever, you can name the development whatever you want.
People crafting the Attorney General.
Okay.
Right, but I think splitting hairs, but if it's, the resolution is addressing the existing land in its current form, and we have then an Attorney General book that's being filed and a development that's happening thereafter. You guys are ruling on something that is in its current form, which I think the WH Equity entity would be sufficient for that.
The title donor.
Yeah.
That's who it goes to,
That's right.
the title donor.
Okay.
Good question.
All right, well,
One resolution as we're forwarding, we have this referral, this agency's approval. Work has started on it, we did not finish.
do we feel sufficiently confident to put them down for, keep them on the decision for the next meeting?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
no, I-
well, then there you go.
All right.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
We're not gonna change that.
Hopefully
you.
we'll have something to,
And please reach out if you need anything at all.
Well,
by all means.
We can always wait till next meeting.
Please don't.
I make a motion, we hold over the applicant at their request until January 25th.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Thank you.
It's the public hearing, number 1, Rogers Avenue Associates.
You again?
You again?
Yeah.
We thought we
You
were
ready?
just
You want-
off.
you're
No,
glad-
you gotta get
you're
rid of
glad-
these things first, and then I'll
you're glad
disappear.
for Punishment, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
I was actually gonna make a joke before that Jim managed to jump over the one that started first, but then I realized you were on both, so
Yep.
it'd be a little unfair to you to pick on you that way.
So.
You jumped over yourself. How
Yep,
about that?
exactly. So yeah, I think at this point, I think the main goal is, I think our public hearing is still open. I know we've submitted all of our full health department approvals for the STP. I think the site plan was in a pretty good spot the last time we touched it. I think we're at a very similar point to the other one where we should be hopefully getting a decision soon. But I think we want to get the public hearing closed. I know Frank Eisler has given Tony some draft covenants. I don't know if we've gotten any back and forth yet, Tony. I
No,
don't know.
you won't get them until we're ready, we're
We're
writing the
ready. Yeah.
decision.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I think we've done everything that we can. I think
One
again,
thing you should tell Frank.
Yep.
We're talking ahead of this to try to figure out what's left.
Yep.
The appraisal is now a little stale.
okay.
'Cause by code, the appraisal has to be done right before, dated as of right before the approval. That was a recent code amendment. Last year, when you submitted the appraisal, it was based on the thought that we were just about ready to approve it
Yep.
last year. But we're now 12 months away. We need that updated because there's probably another 3, 4, 5% of appreciation that needs to be added to the
Okay.
last year,
All right.
whatever the appraiser says.
We've gotten an updated appraisal upon the request of the health department.
Yeah.
so
So,
I have-
we'll take a look at that one. That one
have
we may
copies
just
of
be
one.
able to forward that one if it's.
Yeah, what's the time limit? Like how close to the decision?
It just has to be close. I mean, there's some
I
discretion.
did this maybe 2 months ago, Tony, because when we closed out the sewer.
Give
AMC
it a
agreement,
shot.
it's probably around
Send it
that.
over.
Okay.
We'll see what the date of evaluation is. A few months is not a big deal. A year is a big deal.
No, this is
I
only
want to say
gonna
it
be.
was the end of the fourth quarter. Of
Yeah.
last year.
Send that over then. If that make sure it's apples to apples and
Yeah, I think
It's
it
the
was basically
same-
almost the same one. It was done by the same person. That
No,
does it.
No, it had to be done by
by
health department approved.
Yeah.
Appraiser.
Yep.
So
Okay.
it's a separate appraiser.
We'll send it to you, Tony, and we'll take a look at it. If it's good, then we'll use it.
okay. Well, that's what we're gonna base the park fee off of, is that appraisal.
They ask for schedule, payment schedule like the other applicant or not? Sure.
I don't remember them bringing it up. But
Park fee?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where you could break the park fee into pieces and pay as we go, basically, rather than paying it all up front.
We'd be open to that.
would you like to request it?
Yep.
Ask nicely. We'll think about it.
And I think that one of the issues was what's the credit that they're getting? I think we had already gotten that far.
I think
right?
we had determined
Okay.
that with Frank last time. I think that,
I'm
yeah.
just confirming that
Yep.
with Brad. I'm not trying to reopen anything.
No, I think, yeah, I think we were done with that, so.
So it's really just the base number
Correct.
to use for the formula that we can then plug it in.
Yep.
So we'll touch base again on the 25th?
And we're gonna start work. I mean, part of working on the other resolution is to help us.
Understood.
I mean, we're thinking about both at the same time,
Gotcha.
so,
Okay.
you may only be a couple of weeks behind that one.
Okay.
All right?
So, I mean, so really we're just waiting on the appraisal, then it's just paperwork for you guys, right? So
Yeah.
have him come back next meeting seems kind of.
See what we are.
Well,
where
let's
we
see,
are.
if you can get us the appraisal, then maybe that might be the last piece of
Yeah,
information
we
we
can
need.
probably get that to you tomorrow.
Then we can close the
Yeah.
hearing, the public hearing at the next meeting.
You think you could
for
have
a
closed it
decision.
today for the not having that appraisal?
Yeah,
I think
let's
we should leave it
open.
open until we get the appraisal, because that's a material piece of information.
And then we'll be good.
All right.
All right.
So at a minimum, we'll see you on the 11th. Make a motion, we hold over the applicant at their request until the 25th.
Second.
All right. Thank you very much. We have a fill application, 127 Jessup. Brad, we're not ready, right?
Yeah, we didn't make it over there on the holidays. Unfortunately, Ron was away and then, not feeling well. I have to get over to the site because we know that it needs some attention from the village engineer. We're not holding anything up. This is an addition to a building. And it's, at this time of year, it's not appropriate to be doing the fill anyway, so if we could just put it off till maybe maybe we should do February.
First meeting in February?
I can't speak for Ron. I don't know what his situation.
I make a motion, we hold over the application until February 8th.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
A work session agenda, subdivision review, Beechwood, West Hampton LLC, western terminus of Happy Lane, modification of subdivision to install driveway pillars. Subdivision?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Paulina Jean Petro with offices of Richard W. Rosenberg, PC. Office is located at 200 Robbins Lane, Suite D1, Jericho, New York, 11753. The client is seeking to amend the site plan for Country Point at West Hampton to install entrance piers at the terminus of Happy Lane and Depot Road. To provide a nice entranceway into the community, my client feels that these piers would enhance the West Hampton Village aesthetics of the community. The construction details are, they're 6 feet and 3 inches tall with a light fixture on the top. In addition to that 6'3", 2 feet wide in all directions around. And the material will be a white maintenance-free PVC like an AZAC with a precast column cap on the top. The light fixture will be a traditional style fixture, and it'll have a foundation of a 1 foot by 9 inch, 1 foot 9 inch by 1 foot 9 inch poured concrete pier at the bottom for a minimum of 36 feet below, 36 inches below finished grade. There will also be a sign on the pier that will be a 1/4 inch painted white coated aluminum letters pin mounted onto a 1/4 inch painted, powder coated gray base aluminum sign. You have any questions?
Does Snug Harbor have one? Anybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Snug Harbor House, just kind of curious. I mean, as a general proposition, I'm not crazy about these just because I think it has the effect of setting off that part of the, you know, the village from other parts. It's sort of a segregating type of thing, but I get where you're heading with this. We did have some issues with the proposed pillars in the True Value residential subdivision, which I don't know if they're relevant here. I can't remember what they were, but I do recall that the applicant chose to withdraw them.
It only got something to do with the fire department and turnaround, but I don't
don't
recall what
remember.
that was.
At a minimum, before we do anything, I would like to refer this to the fire department, to the DPW, to the ambulance and to the police department for their consideration in terms of what effect it may have on their emergency operations. And I don't know, it might actually be a good idea to send this off to the ARB to have their commentary. I just am curious to see what they have to say about this.
Yeah, so typically, if you're a residential homeowner and you wanted to do pillars, you're allowed to do pillars without a gate, up to 3 feet from your property line, and that would normally go to the ARB. It's limited to 6 feet in height. You can have a light. So most of this conforms to our current zoning, but because they were located within the right of way of the subdivision, I felt it most appropriate to come back to you all, because if the planning board doesn't want it, then it shouldn't happen. But if you're all okay with it, then I'm sure there's a path forward.
This road was not offered for dedication.
This one will be. Snug Harbor, that was early 1980s, Michael's Way there. That was supposed to be eventually offered for dedication, but is to this day still not. It's still a private road. The end of Humphrey with that Avador subdivision, there was kind of two plans that went simultaneously because the owner was planning on selling that subdivision off, which he ended up doing so. So we had two resolutions, or two plans, one for if it remained public or one for if that cul-de-sac remained private. And it ended up going the public way, so I don't believe those pillars were ever installed.
No, I think that was a conversation we had with them. They said, you
Yeah.
gotta choose
Yeah.
if you want that kind of gates and pillars and things.
Gate,
gotta stay
specifically
private,
in our
but-
code, you can't have a gate for.
Yeah, I don't remember if the discussion around those pillars was just the pillars or if it also
Well,
involved
they wanted a gate initially,
gates, yeah.
and we shot that down on the
Yeah.
first day.
And
But
then we, yeah,
If
they
this
wanted-
is gonna be, this is a dedicated road?
This is to be public road.
I don't know if that's, it's right to do this then. I gotta think that through. I thought this was a private road, in which case I usually tell people, do what you want, but if this is gonna become a village-owned road, to have a differential treatment here versus other places, something, I don't know, something,
I
you
mean,
gotta
if you
think
wanna
that
say-
through, and Matt would certainly have to.
I just
be-
wanted, because that was Ron's not here, I don't want to speak for him, but he had issues about being with the right of way, but just to get it out there, if the applicant proposed to kick these back 5 feet each and put them on those residential lots, it still kind of colors the subdivision, so even though they might not. For instance, the deed owner of those two properties could come in and ask for a pillar right there, and my code allows for a pillar to be 3 feet off the property line. So typically it's in a driveway, but
So you're gonna get two property owners to have a pillar on their property,
well, they,
3 feet back. So we'll have one in the front lawn.
if you look at the
Yeah.
Hayward plan, it's really
plenty
not that far off.
Yeah,
So my client, feels that setting it back onto the properties, inside the property of lot 8 and 10, that it won't give the same effect
I agree.
of feeling when you walk.
I think it's a bad
drive in.
idea. I agree with you.
So,
Yeah, but, so the problem is, you wanna have a private, you want this private effect. You wanna privatize it, but it is gonna be a village-owned road. So that's the issue.
we view these as very similar to what, like the street lights. The streets lights are there,
That was
so.
a nice try.
That might work better if it didn't say country point estates on it.
If it said Village of West Hampton Beach, since it's a Village of West
Hey,
Hampton
Brad, do you
Beach
remember
Road,
when
that
the
may be
country
one thing,
club-
but
when the country club put pillars in over there with their name on them at their entrance?
But that's on their property.
That's,
That's on their property.
It's not a through street anyway. I mean, it's
No,
not a
it's a
street. it's a
private
parking
road,
lot.
that's right.
So,
Different.
well, at a minimum, I'd like, just as a first blush, let's send it off to the ARB, let's send it off to DPW, the fire department, police department and ambulance to see if they have anything.
And by the
to-
time they're done with it, we'll have a consensus here with Ron involved and,
It's not like they're going up next week, so. I think that.
I mean, if this was being proposed to be done after the dedication already happened, it wouldn't even be,
wouldn't be able to
wouldn't
do
even
it.
be allowed to do
Yeah.
that.
But how will it
I think,
affect?
I mean, unless, I can't see how Matt would be able to approve that, just,
right.
so why would,
Things we allow in the right of way is obviously a driveway, an apron, a mailbox, but anything that, you know, any fences or potential hindrances for, we don't typically would allow that to happen.
and I wonder if the trustees wouldn't have to weigh in on this, since they have to be the arbiters of whether to accept a road for a dedication. You can offer a road for dedication, but it has to be accepted by the trustees.
This wasn't a special exception. Didn't go.
Doesn't matter, with a
I'm saying, did it-
dedication,
Did it go to them though?
there has to be a resolution of approval accepting the dedication, otherwise it will stay private.
Right.
So,
Or should we send?
and we haven't gotten to that point.
This is really a bad idea.
Should we send it to the
I'd
trustees?
like to add that originally.
Maybe premature, I
it
don't
was
know, you
like
guys have
it's
to
gonna
maybe
be a
decide
private
whether
road, and then
you even
come
want
down
to allow.
down the line, it was decided by the village that it would be a dedicated and accepted road, a public road. So
Isn't there a standard for a regular street sign in this village? That has to be, posted properly for like the fire department, the ambulance?
Oh, there will be.
There'll be regular
Street
street
signs
signs
in
of this corner.
Within the original resolution.
Right.
Granted, our West Hampton Beach street signs are not really conforming to DOT standards.
This
Well,
is a tough one.
Yeah, I would ask that we, a motion to, have this referred to DPW, fire department, ambulance, police department, and to the ARB for commentary.
Make the motion.
I would also make it clear to them that this is a road that's being offered for dedication to the village, so that they don't, because they could view it two different ways. One as a private road, I would have no objection to it if it was gonna be a private road legally. But the fact that it's being proposed to be a village-owned road upon conclusion of this development, that makes it different.
It's still a pillar within a mapped road, even if it's a private road. I don't know if it should be in the road right away.
I'm not saying it should, I'm not saying it should or shouldn't, but I would legally have an objection to it. I do question whether we could legally do it, given that it's supposed to be designed to village specs, and that's not village specs.
Within the confines of the referral, we'll also ask that it be noted that the road, at least at present, is to be dedicated to the village. Just so those agencies are aware of that fact.
February 12th?
We have a second,
All in
all
favor?
in favor? Aye.
thank you.
I don't know how, Megan's not gonna be able to get that out till next week.
Oh, we can,
You know,
we'll refer it.
Yes.
I have.
ANPIETRO, GMP Trail.
how long do we give them to respond?
Think it's gonna be.
Waiting if we send it off to ARB and well, ARB is gonna have to meet next week. All right. All right, hopefully we'll have something back, we'll see you on,
February 8th.
I'll wait to see when referrals all come back. If we have all the referrals back, we'll put it on there.
Okay.
I can't argue with the boss. Okay. All right. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a lovely evening.
See you again.
Minutes of December 14th.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes as written.
I recuse, I wasn't here, Michael. So it's just the three of you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. See you on the 25th, folks. Motion to close.
So moved.
All in favor?
They're laying $1 short.
Nothing I can do about it. Was it ready?
What?
What?
What, 32 mil?
32 minutes.
No, we didn't read it, just a pertinent portion. All I mentioned was that the
What is it?
resolution has 16 seats.
Skiing?
Access to the roof, to the deck on the second floor is not accessible to the public. That's basically what I talked about.
And it was accepted as written.
I read it all. That's good. Thanks. I went from foot to on.
We never connected. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. The courtesy is noted. Thank you so much.
You all right? That didn't happen on your way back.